Neville Goddard, The Power of Unlimited Imagination, Chapter 7, Be Ye Doers of the Word. In the book of Hebrews, Paul tells us to rest in the Lord. Why? Because the man who rests in the Lord is transformed into the image in which he rests. If my aim is to be a good teacher and I rest in the feeling, I will be transformed into that image. Unfortunately, most of the states in which men rest are negative. Feeling insecure, you will rest in the conviction that the world owes you a living. Feeling hurt, it is easy to rest in that grievance until your mood becomes natural. Oh boy. It is such a common failure, if you will, that it's easy to do that. It's sad that it's easy to do that because we have so much potential. So much potential. You may condemn the state and believe others to be its cause, but through your feeling of being hurt, you will be transformed into the very image of the state you condemn. And if someone seems to cause you displeasure, remember there is no other. There is no there is no other. Three fingers are pointing back at you. The state in which you rest is causing you to listen. The state in which you rest is causing you to listen to silent and invisible conversations. Although the words are heard by you and you alone, they act as magnets and draw to you the circumstances of your life. What's going on in here, that little bit of chatter, what you're thinking while you're driving, what you're thinking while you're listening to the radio, what you're thinking while your friend's talking, what you're thinking while the TV's on, whatever. These are all little magnets. These conversations are creating the reality you're experiencing. You must begin to direct those conversations like Neville's wife did. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Every meeting I share with you the knowledge I have gained through personal experience, but I cannot make you put this knowledge into practice. That's Neville talking, because this is a lecture. As a teacher, I demand results. As a teacher, I demand results. As a student, I urge you to test this truth. For it is true, it will prove itself. For if it is true, it'll prove itself in its testing. I urge you to test this truth. For if it is true, it will prove itself in the testing. In the 25th chapter of the book of Matthew, the parable is told of the servants who were given talents by their master. Oh, this is going to be good. One was given 5 talents that he increased to 10. Another 2 talents were given that were increased to 4. And when the third received his 1 talent, he buried it, thereby never allowing it to increase. When the master returned, he rejoiced at the increase he was shown by the first 2. But he took from the one who had placed his talent in hiding, he took that from him, and he gave it to the one who had 10, saying, to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who has not, even that which he has will be taken away. This teaching is like the talents. Practice daily. Your power of awareness will grow. Let's get a picture of that. Here we go. I am all that is God right here. Self-concepts, self-concepts. Let's talk about where these talents went in this parable. It's a wonderful example. 25th chapter of the book of Matthew. Let's see here. One was given 5 talents, he increased to 10. Another 2 increased to 4. 5. So this was given 5 talents, he increased it to 10. This one was given 2 talents, he increased it to 4. This one was given 1 talent, and he buried it. He buried it from his sight and did not use his talent. Did not practice in his talent in this self-concept. Here, the talent was doubled because the talent was used. Here, the talent was doubled because the talent was used. Practice daily. Your power of awareness will grow. Power of awareness, remember, I am that I am. Awareness of your being is your power of awareness. This will grow when you practice daily. If you're a hearer only, your knowledge not used will soon wither away and atrophy. Don't even be confused. It will slide away. It's like anything else. If you sing every morning, you keep that in tune. If you stop singing every morning, that goes away. It becomes dormant. Test yourself every day. Leave the other fellow alone and turn to self, for the promise is, according to your work will it be done unto. Don't worry about anybody else. Here's you, and here's where you want to be. Who cares? Be happy. Oh man, they got new cars, they got a new house. I can't believe it. They're our age and everything, and they're doing all these wonderful things. Yes, that's wonderful. These people are 10 years younger than me. They're increasing. They got a new house and they got new cars. Wow. Rejoice. Be happy. If you resent someone else, you're bringing that home. That's not practicing your talent. Your practicing of talent is being happy and saying the prayer for those that have, they are going to be given more. When you're blessing them, those that are practicing and increasing their bounty, increasing their abundance, you're happy for them and you're blessing them with even more. To him that hath, it is given even from you. It doesn't mean, excuse me, I know what we're going here. It doesn't mean not to bless this direction too, but understand those are doubled and the abundance shows for it, shows for their practice. The abundance doubles and shows for their practice. The abundance doesn't double, but it goes away because they're not practicing. But it doesn't mean you can't say a prayer for them and see them in abundance, lifting them up, rising the tide. The man who overcomes himself rises to a higher level of being. That sounds like quite a phrase, overcomes himself. Man. Uncritically observe your reactions to life. Then work on yourself by practicing this psychologically. Only by working on self can you rise to a higher level, but you cannot do it with a negative emotion. It must be a positive one. We are told to lift up your eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh your help. Negative thoughts cause downward emotions, while positive thoughts elevate. If you listen to your thoughts, stop their negative flow, and change them so that you are hearing what you want to hear, you will feel a positive emotion of relief that is followed by a stillness that brings with it the knowledge that your prayer has been answered. There it is. I mean, it's so friggin' simple. It can't be that easy. Can it be that easy? If you listen to your thoughts, you must practice this. Stop what you're doing right now and pause this video and listen to your thoughts. Which way are they going? What's in there? Wouldn't it be great if we could record ourselves a day ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, and see what the heck we were thinking? Oh boy, I'm glad we can't, but you understand my point here. If you listen to your thoughts, stop their negative flow and change them so that you are hearing what you want to hear, you will feel a positive emotion of relief that is followed by a stillness that brings with it the knowledge that your prayer has been answered. Now, as the title of this lesson implies, we are urged to be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving ourselves. In the book of James, a hearer is defined as like a man who observes his natural face in the mirror, then turns and forgets what he looks like. Whereas the doer is one who looks into the perfect law of liberty, perseveres, and is blessed in all that he does. Right here. Boom. Making the impression, conquering the achievement of the objectification of the desire. Desire, impression, expression. Doer of the word must be practiced. You must persist and do this each night, each morning, before nap and after nap, any moment you can. What are you giving your attention to right now? How do you go about looking in the mirror of the mind and being pleased with what you see? By looking into the face of your wife, husband, parent, or friend. Close your eyes. Relax. And think of a friend who would rejoice in your good fortune. Tell him your good news and watch the expression of joy appear on his imagined face. His expression will liberate you, as his knowing has set you free to express your desire. It's that close. How do you even describe how close it is, your freedom, that you imagine a friend rejoicing in seeing their smile when you share with them the good news of your new husband, of your new bank account, of your new children, of your new house, of your new career, doing what you love to do. You're sharing with your friend here in the fourth dimension, in the kingdom of heaven. You're with the Lord. You're seeing your friend smile, that wonderful smile that only they could smile when you share with them the good news, the God's spell. And you feel warm and cozy because you just saw them happy for you. Their expression will liberate you, as his knowing has set you free to express your desire. Having looked into the perfect law of liberty, persevere and you will be blessed in the doing. In the book of Matthew, the law is stated thus: whatever you wish that men would do to you, do so to them, for this is the law of the prophets. Here we discover that the Bible is speaking of a man's psychology and not his physical form. The Bible records what you do within yourself, telling you that the conversation carried on internally are the breeding grounds of your future actions. Pay very close attention to what was just said right there. The Bible records what you do within yourself, telling you that the conversations carried on internally are the breeding grounds of your future actions. Forever carrying on mental conversations with imaginary beings, become aware of your thoughts. Be selective and make your inner conversations positive. No matter how hard that seems to do, just do it. Just do it. Sometimes it feels like you're like trying to change a course of a river with your two arms. You're trying to hold the water and push it in another direction. Yes, that's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. But if you don't get in that freaking thing up to your knees and put your arms out and start changing that course, who's going to do it for you? You need to get in there, up to your knees, up to your waist, whatever, and make the push. You'll be surprised. Just you against that river is going to make a difference. Just put your arms out. All of a sudden, you'll find the beavers are starting to help you by bringing sticks because of your intent, because of your imagining that course is going to go another way. Once you see the end, you at the other end over there, everything's going to come to your aid. All the automatons will step forward right into your bridge of incidents and help you get there. Forever carrying on mental conversations with imaginary beings, become aware of your thoughts. Be selective and make your inner conversations positive. For the mechanical imagination is asleep and negative, while the awakened imagination is positive and noble. Tonight, single out someone you love and rearrange your opinion of him. Carry on mental conversations with him based upon this new premise, and you are a doer of the word. There it is. Tonight, single out someone you love and rearrange your opinion of him. Carry on mental conversations with him based upon this new premise, and you are a doer of the word. If you don't, you are a hearer only, deceiving yourself. This teaching is to awaken you to the active, dynamic being that you really are. Asleep, your thoughts are negative and passive and cannot change until you uncritically observe your reactions to life. If you are honest with yourself, you will find an internal being you are not proud of, a monster that needs taming. Tame that monster by filling your mind with positive thoughts of joy and fulfillment. And you will turn that monster into a being of love. Love, the most important thing there is, period. One thing only, the most important thing only, love. It's made of consciousness. You're wielding consciousness unconsciously. So now you take charge by taming that monster and filling your mind with positive thoughts of joy and fulfillment. You turn that monster into a being of love. If anybody remembers Neville fighting that big monster while in meditation, and it kept growing, the more anger he would express at it, trying to kill it, trying to tame it, trying to beat it to death, and it would grow and magnify huge until he realized it wanted love to go away. And once he started imagining love, it vanished. That's exactly what all your blocks are. Any block you feel you have right now, whether it is what happened when you grew up as a kid, what happened that your teachers did to you, what happened that your parents did to you, what happened that your uncle, aunt, cousin did to you, who cares? You got to where you are. Somehow, you're here now. That's all that matters. Now, those habits, those monsters only exist right here, right now. You're not experiencing those right now. If you are, you typically wouldn't be on this video. But if you are experiencing those things and you are on this video or this channel, then use this information. Tame those monsters with love. The important thing, I had a conversation today about Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. It means to make right. What's funny and crazy about that phrase is we went to our wedding vows. We got married in 1999 on the island of Kauai. And at the time they were filming Baywatch Hawaii. And our preacher, our minister, preacher, whatever, he was actually in Baywatch Hawaii at the time. And we got the makeup gal who was working on the show. She did my wife's makeup for our wedding we had. And small world crazy, but we went ahead and just went with their vows. We just figured we're in Hawaii, let's do the traditional thing they would do. Right in the first paragraph is Ho'oponopono. And I had no idea, that was 1999. I had no idea that in 2020, what would that be, 21 years later, about 20, 21, I would fall madly in crazy love with the idea of what Ho'oponopono meant. Ho'oponopono means to make right. It means I love you, thank you, to everything. Dr. Hugh Lin, Morna Simeona, I believe is the name of the gal that he learned from. She would be the teacher. She would be the wise, noble one, and he learned from her, and he applied it. And I'm going to make a video on this specifically, but you have monsters in your experience, let's say, all right? They don't exist in front of you right now. They're here right now. Everything in here right now is only ever here anyway. Even though you're physically experiencing something, it's still here because everything is you pushed out. I'm not trying to deflate anybody's personal experience, however negative and however seemingly negative. What I'm trying to help encourage is the idea of what the power of love can do, even with monsterific experiences in life. And I know this is a very serious topic, and I don't want to gloss over it. It's a very important topic. You can't get emotional, right? Tame the monster by filling your mind with positive thoughts of joy and fulfillment, and you will turn that monster into a being of love. Monsters exist. I've heard of them. I've heard the stories. In my beginning of doing any of this work, I love to do and go out and do a lot of consultations and readings. Thousands. And I've heard a lot of stories. And my teachers told me a lot of wonderful stories. I say wonderful because I don't want to use a negative word. But they're only ever existent in the present of the person. Typically, the existence of that monster is here. The monster's not literally standing right there. So it's the best thing I can say is that although you might have had a monsterific experience, understand that you are in control of how you perceive it now. You are in control of using love, the Ho'oponopono way, I love you, thank you. You're using love now to make that impression into your reality. You feel like it's been robbed of you, this monster experience you had, then you're going to use love to overcome that. That's how we're going to get rid of those blocks. We're going to remove them with love. It'll be in a separate video, as I said, but Dr. Hugh Lin, using the idea of love without even seeing the patients in I think it was in Honolulu. It was a psychological hospital in Honolulu. His friend needed help, and he didn't even want to go there. I think he lived stateside, and he told him, just send me the files of patients. And the guy said no. So he actually went to Hawaii to help his friend running this hospital. I believe, I'm paraphrasing the story quite handsomely here as best I can, but all he did was focus on I love you, thank you, as he looked at the files of the patients. I love you, thank you. That's all he did. He didn't talk, he didn't consult, he didn't go near the patients. One by one, as he practiced imagining lovingly for each patient, which is imagining lovingly as exactly what Neville's describing, each patient eventually got well. Each patient went on work furlough. Each patient was so well, they were released. Pretty soon, all the patients were released from the hospital, and the hospital had no more work. The hospital was shut down. That's the power of I love you, thank you. Called Ho'oponopono by the Hawaiians, it's still imagining lovingly. How hard is it? How much time does that take? How busy is your day when you can't say, I love you, thank you, to your spouse in your head, your future spouse in your head, your mother, your father, your children, your neighbors? I love you, thank you. I have a friend, a very, very good friend, and when I learned something, I share it with everybody. So when I learned it, 2020 and 2021, I was practicing it very much, and we shared it with our friends. My wife and I shared it with our friends, and then they practice it. They run a business, and they practice it with their customers. They still practice it to this day, and they go and they quote a job or they bid a job, and they use Ho'oponopono. They're constantly just there looking at the job, just like I love you, thank you. It's going in their head, while the customers, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. They leave, and they're like, no problem, here's the price, and just whatever. And then when they're leaving, they're on their way to the truck. I love you, thank you. I love you, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. They always get a call back because that customer felt the love. Think about that. All they're doing is I love you. And they get the call back. You want to increase your business? This is how you do it. Whatever business you're in. Love your customer. Thank your customer. Hear. You're thinking them here. Out here is where they exist. But you're thinking them here. So you're making the impression. So then the objectification of that reality, you make the impression, the new expression is them calling you for work because they know you're the source. They know in the subconscious realm that you're bringing the love. Boom! Get into the habit of observing your reactions to life. Give yourself your daily bread by giving yourself the ability to no longer react negatively. Become a doer by recognizing a negative thought, then breaking it and going immediately to a positive one. Just break the negative thought. Again, monsters in the past. We have to move forward by breaking the negative thought and replacing it with a positive one. There's no saying things did not happen to you or that you're the cause of it, so that's why it's your fault that happened. This whole idea you create your own reality is very, very highly responsible. But when you've had monster-rific experiences or negative ones, that doesn't sit too well. That doesn't sit too well when you hear it from me and you're going to point at me right away and want to come over here and tell me what you think. That's not the point. The point is you do create your reality and you created it for a reason, to get an experience from and learn. Yes, that's on one level. On another level, that monster-rific experience, it happened. It's here now. Let's replace the negative memory with at least, I love you, thank you. It sounds very not easy to do. It's not easy, but every experience has brought you to where you are. And if you're listening to this video, you're in a very good place because now you're learning how to change this. You can take where you are, make an impression, objectify a very beautiful, wonderful new reality for yourself. Or you can stay hooked on that past experience and be stuck in this loop. You're looking out here at the past experience. It's your subconscious impression. So you're constantly expressing because you are changing, but you're only changing into the same cycle over and over. With love, you can break that cycle, absorb that memory, let go of the anger, replace it with love, be the new you, accomplish any goal you want, any goal you can dream of, bring yourself into the kingdom of heaven. All of your grievances, your hurts, self-pity, and beliefs that others are the cause of your sorrow are animals that need to be sacrificed on the altar of consciousness. Letting all negative feelings go, select the mansion you desire to enter and go in. There it is, exactly. Enter the mansion by letting all those negative feelings go. I added with love. Make that impression because you're the new loving you. Enter the mansion. It's very interesting material, and excuse me, because I want you to know that I don't take it lightly that we all create our own reality, because we all do. And that was the first thing I learned right in the beginning, and it was the hardest pill to swallow. That all my experiences were created by me. That was a doozy. That was a real hard lesson, and it was a tough pill to swallow. So I know what it feels like for me to be saying it to you, especially if you've had monster-rific experiences. They're not happening to you now. Yes, you did create them. Yes, you needed the experience from them, but you're here now, and you can be a teacher to others of that experience you had and overcame. That's the new state you're entering into. What does it take to help someone stop partying like they're in their second year of college? Somebody who's been there. Somebody who's been there and make the impression that they don't want to do that anymore can become a new person and teach someone else how to get out of that cycle, because they're in a cycle also, if they want to get out. People who don't want to get out, don't worry about it. That's not a worry for you. Very powerful statement here. All of your grievances, your hurts, self-pity, and beliefs that others are the cause of your sorrow are animals that need to be sacrificed on the altar of consciousness. Letting all negative feelings go, select the mansion state you desire and enter and go in. You desire to enter and go in. The law brings poverty into being. The law that brings poverty into being also brings wealth. Let the weak man say, I am strong. And the poor man say, I am rich. I am wealthy. For only that which you affirm within yourself can be outpictured. Does anybody remember? There was a cartoon, man. It was a little creature. It was a little guy. It was a shorter guy, and I think his name was it Mr. Magoo. No. Okay, I got it. My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I own a mansion and a yacht, and that's all this cartoon character said. My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I own a mansion and a yacht. My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I own a mansion and a yacht, and he was just claiming his wealth. And he was a cartoon character in these cartoons, these Saturday morning cartoons we used to watch. And it was hilarious, but that is how you have to be. Let the poor man say, I am wealthy. I own a mansion and a yacht. For only that which you affirm within yourself can be outpictured. Feel yourself into the state of poverty, and poverty is outpictured. Feel yourself into the state of poverty, and it is outpictured. Feel yourself into the state of security by saying, I am secure. And security will result. Don't forget, one of my favorites, I live in a safe universe. I got that from Seth. I live in a safe universe. Shout out to Seth. Shout out to Jane Roberts, Rob Butts. I live in a safe universe. But if you do not feel yourself into the state desired, you will be forever free of its results, as that which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect will never be affected without such change in consciousness. Remember the lottery winner. Didn't change his consciousness. Jack Whitaker. You must feel yourself right into the situation of your answered prayer, then live and act in that conviction. If you don't, you will never know the results of that state. You must feel yourself right into the situation of your answered prayer. You must feel what it's like to be married. You must feel what it's like to walk down the aisle. You must feel what it's like to be in bed next to your partner. You must feel what it's like eating lunch and dinner together. You must feel it. Make the impression by the feeling. It's an impression, then an expression. The expression's automatic. Never be concerned about the how. Forget about the how. Just impress, because the expression's automatic. You must feel yourself right into the situation of your answered prayer, then live and act in that conviction. If you don't, you will never know the results of that state. Do what Neville did. You want to live in a different apartment or house, what have you, or be in a different state, meaning literally a state of the United States. You're in a state in the South. You want to go to the Midwest? Well, most time people take the vacation the opposite direction. You're in the state in the South, and you want to go to the West Coast. Then at night, when you get up to use the toilet, everybody does. You walk, or you do your sats, and you imagine yourself walking through the rooms of your place, and the current place you're laying down. This is Neville's technique. Remember, the current place you're laying down is all of a sudden 3,000 miles to the east, and you feel that where you used to live is 3,000 miles that way to the east. Okay? So while you're in sats, while your eyes are closed walking to the toilet, you're still in sats. You can imagine that you're in your new place, feeling the walls of your new place, and you're 3,000 miles away from your old place. Your fortune or misfortune was brought into being by your state of consciousness. There is no other cause. Have the courage to accept this and then become a doer. In so doing, be blessed in every deed. Start now to become conscious of what you hear yourself say to yourself, and stop receiving those impressions mechanically and unconsciously. Pay attention. What you hear must be filtered through what you are. And what you are is what you hear. Man. What you hear must be filtered through what you are. And what you are is what you hear. Kind thoughts stem from kind ideas created by a kind person. Therefore, be kind to one another, tender-hearted and forgiving. Key word in that sentence, created. Kind thoughts stem from kind ideas created by a kind person. Anybody can create kind thoughts. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Therefore, be kind to one another, tender-hearted and forgiving. Now, an assumption is called the crown of the mysteries, and every assumption is made by you alone. The world you see depends not so much on what is there as on the assumption you make when you look at it. The talent entrusted to you is your power of conscious assumption. That's the talent. Remember what we were talking about. Are you going to multiply it? Or are you going to bury it and hide it? That is the question to you right now. Are you going to bury it, hide it, or are you going to use it and multiply it? The talent entrusted to you is your power of conscious assumption. Don't bury it! Exclamation point. Asleep to this knowledge, your reactions to the day are mechanical, when you're not even aware of the law at all. Asleep to this knowledge, your reactions to the day are mechanical, negating everything you see and hear. Postscript. Become conscious of what you are doing and saying to yourself. Awake! Exclamation point. Rise in consciousness by controlling your thoughts and making them positive, kind, loving, and fulfilling. Remember the Ho'oponopono. I love you, thank you. How much more kindness can you be? Rise in consciousness by controlling your thoughts and making them positive, kind, loving, and fulfilling. That's why Ho'oponopono works so well, because you're simply rising in consciousness, literally, and you're controlling your thoughts and making them positive, obviously. Control your imagination with steady attention and dare to stand and be heard. Think noble thoughts based on noble concepts, and they will pay great dividends, for you will rise in consciousness and transform your world. Great chapter. Wow. Chapter 7, Be Doers of the Word. What a wonderful chapter that was. So many wonderful pieces in here. What was your favorite? I'll tell you my favorite. Oh my gosh, where was it at? There's so much goodness right here. Oh man. Oh. Okay, get into the habit of observing your reactions to life. And this seems difficult at first, but if you're open-minded enough to realize that you are reacting constantly. Each moment you have reactions going on. But if you're open enough to pay attention, get into the habit of observing your reactions to life. Give yourself your daily bread by giving yourself the ability to no longer react negatively. Become a doer by recognizing a negative thought, then breaking it and going immediately to a positive one. It is literally, that's the instruction. Is it simple? You decide. Are you going to do it? Let's hope so. I'm very much rooting for you. All right. We'll see you in the next chapter.